Folks, if you just watched the election, it's a somewhat disheartening result. You know, it was very close, within 1% of majority vote, the CPC and the LPC party. Unfortunately, a lot of vote splitting. You know, we talked about that here on Bright Eyes and Brant, how important it was for Pierre to pull a Donald Trump move like he did with RFK and reach across the aisle. Pierre Poilievre to guys like Maxime Bernier and perhaps some of the leadership in the Christian Heritage Party and other parties that share 80% of the perspective of the conservatives. There's all kinds of roles that they could have had. Could have totally pulled a Trump RFK move and brought them together. Secondly, Pierre was playing his cards like a plan B guy right from the beginning with Trump. Instead of picking up the phone and calling Trump directly, he left that role to Carney, and that sent a message to everyone who was in charge. Had he picked up the phone first and been the first to make contact, whether you feel that's appropriate or not, regardless, the impact would have landed, and Pierre would have sent the message, I'm in charge, I'm making the calls, I'm taking position and leadership of the situation. But he did not do that. He's yet to speak to Trump, and that took its toll on everyone's perspective of Pierre Poilievre. Thirdly, he failed until the last, I would say, week or so to speak strongly to Trump's arrogance and Trump's tactics regarding some of his, rhetoric, the 51st state, whatever. I think it's pretty hilarious. Obviously, it's never going to happen, but it would have been fun to utilize as an object to demonstrate strength and say that's a pretty good joke, but we're not in a circus, and have fun over there with your fantasies. Anything like that. Pierre would have come out of the blocks with some good punches and some good one-liners, and he's good with that stuff. It would have had an impact. And then lastly, we have a lot of vote splitting parties. Now, I think it's important to say it's not just the votes in the decentralized political power, but it's the negative energy of the PPC party attacking the Conservative Party. It's guys like Doug Ford not being able to find a positive thing to say about their party leader. It's any party that's fairly aligned just attacking the Conservatives. So reaching across the aisle defeats that and shuts down the negative rhetoric. That's what Trump did with RFK. Keep in mind that RFK over the years had sued and won against Donald Trump many times. Still, Trump had the wisdom and the foresight, the business acumen to reach across the aisle and bring him on board and give him a role that he is very good at, that probably no one could do better. There are roles for Maxime Bernier in the CPC and probably other leadership too that have strong voices, and you would have cut down that negative energy rate a bit. That's the Bright Eyes of Brant 2 cents piece. So close. It's unfortunate that people in Canada are so shackled in their mind. There's so much evidence that Stockholm Syndrome exists in this country that they're willing to take on this party that's failed in human rights, failed in policy, failed in finance, failed in integrity for another term after this last decade. It's truly sad, but take heart. There's a plan in all of it. God has a plan in all of it. He's the real one in charge, and sometimes these lower and lower moments that we reach in history served to solidify the resolve for real and lasting change. The pain of the ultimate low, hitting rock bottom, sometimes creates the kind of resolve needed for permanent change, and that just might be what's happening next. We shall see. Until then, keep your eyes up. Charlie from Bright Eyes of Brant sending out some words of encouragement and a few critical thoughts of the situation. But most of all, we have each other. If we have each other, then we're willing to gather together, stay together no matter what. We have all we need. Have a great week. We'll see you again here on Bright Eyes of Brant.